What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Kain here. We are back with an episode of the TKT podcast, the 2 Kill Time podcast, brought to you on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. You'll notice that I just said it's me tonight. That's right. It's just me. We don't have Travis or TJ here this week. Sadly, they've had some things come up where they couldn't make it to this episode, which is fine. No big deal. So we're just going to kind of run like a solo dialogue, or I guess it would be a monologue. I don't know really what the term would be, but I hope you all had an awesome week. I really do just want to thank you all for the continuous support that we've had from all our friends and family and fans from New York, Nashville, Belgium, Australia, like everywhere in this planet. Other than Antarctica, we've had listeners, so I do want to thank you guys all for listening week in and week out. It truly is amazing to be able to have a reach that we do as such a small podcast and such a small, tight group of friends that we do have. Again, it's just me this week. I am recording this live on Twitch, again, as a solo monologue, so I will be reacting to some of the chats that are going on throughout this podcast. But I do just want to say, like I said, thank you to everybody. And if you know anybody that has a small business that would like to get in touch with us and possibly even plug their business on our podcast, I'd love to talk about it. We love helping out people that we know and people that we love. So again, just feel free to reach out to me on social media. It's Kain Wilder on almost every platform, or Wilder42K on almost every platform. So it's pretty easy to find me. It's really easy to find me, I can't lie. But, yeah, like I said, guys, my week was okay. The past week has been a bit of a grind. So last week I took off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was my birthday on Thursday. I turned 25. Happy birthday to myself. Had a really good time. Went and saw Avatar 2, which if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It was a really good movie. Probably one of the most visually stunning movies I've ever seen. I don't think it was the best plot, but the story was really good. It kept me engaged. It's a 3-hour and 20-minute movie, and I was able to watch the whole thing. But anyways, that kind of brings me into what I want to talk about is in this solo monologue, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about the things that I do. So one of the things that I do is that, I work. Everybody has a job. Every single one of us has a job, and we work hard every single day. And that's one thing that I do is I typically work anywhere from 45 to 55 hours a week. I'm a car salesman. It's not the most labor-intensive job. It's more of a mental labor-intensive job, if anything. Just finding a way to put car deals together and get people their dream vehicle and get people a mode of transportation to and from their occupation is my job. And that comes with not a lot of stress, but a lot of mind work and a lot of functions. And basically, everything outside of that I do is either gaming, sports, or vehicles. I'm constantly doing things on Twitch. I stream every single day for over 1,000 days now. I put out YouTube content. At one point, I was doing 6 videos a week. Now I'm down to 2 to 3 videos a week, putting out better, more quality content, grinding, just putting in the work for what I want to do and what I want to make my passion to be. And I'm realizing now that it was a bad decision to wear a sweatshirt tonight. I'm not really sure why I did that, but I am already warm, and I might have to open this window at some point throughout this podcast because it is definitely toasting here. And the reason why I bring up that portion about myself is because I want to talk about like work ethic tonight. Just because I have a lot of listeners, a lot of people that don't really know much about myself. I think work ethic is probably one of the most important things that you can have as a person. Good work ethic as a human being is a huge thing to have because it can get you a lot of places that otherwise people wouldn't be able to get to in this world. And by work ethic, I mean like having the integrity to understand, hey, I have to show up on time. My word means a lot, regardless of whether other people say when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Work ethic as in I'm going to be honest every single time I speak to somebody. And work ethic as in reliability. If reliability is kind of the main subject out of all of this that I kind of wanted to hit, again, solo monologuing this is really tough. I stream all the time, but not having someone to bounce off of, I'm just probably going to be rambling most of this episode, but I think I have some interesting things to say, and I think it'll be motivational for a lot of people in terms of this subject. And reliability not only comes from people being able to rely on you, but you being able to rely on other people, but most importantly, to rely on yourself. If you can't rely on yourself to do certain things, and I'll be honest, I am one of the biggest procrastinators of anything, like whether it be excuse me, schoolwork or doing laundry, cleaning up the house, getting gas. Like, I will put that off till last minute unless I know, like, hey, I got to get gas today. Like right now, not my check engine light, my gas light is on. I have 20 miles to E, but for me, like that's another 5 days of work. I only have to commute six miles a day, so not really 5, but you understand what I mean. And it starts with that. Work ethic really starts with being able to rely on yourself to be able to complete certain tasks, because if you can't rely on yourself or trust yourself to complete things on time or complete things in a timely manner, why should anybody else be able to trust you with a task or an objective that you need to get done or that you need to move up with? And again, this is a really different episode from, I think, anything we've ever done, and I'm really interested in having Travis and TJ even doing their own episodes with this. Maybe not even recording video, but just the audio, I think would be really cool, because I don't know if they'd be comfortable doing this. And it comes down to that reliability. Like, I rely on myself to know every single week we're doing this. Every single day I'm going to stream. Every single day I have to go to work and put in the time to try and make money, because in car sales, you're not guaranteed to pay. I have to go in, and if I don't sell a car, I don't get paid that day type thing, which can be really tough. And you have to be able to rely on yourself and rely on your abilities, and your boss has to be able to rely on you and rely on your abilities to earn money and to earn a paycheck and to find a way to get people to the store and things like that. And I apply that to everything I do. I have to find certain ways to get people to watch my videos, whether that be a catchy tag or a catchy thumbnail. And I think a lot of people need to start applying that to their daily life. Like, one of the things I've mentioned on this podcast previously and things that I've been really talking about and something that I really want to do is change my lifestyle in terms of my body weight and the way I do things throughout my day. I want to start going to the gym. I want to eat healthier. I want to stop drinking alcohol all the time. I want to better myself, because at my age, at 25, I'm supposed to be in my peak physical and mental condition, and I'm not. And that's something that really just has been resonating with me lately since probably about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And I've decided, hey, that's what I'm going to do, because I can't rely on myself and hold myself accountable if other people can't. I feel like other people can't. So again, it's holding yourself reliable in terms of, hey, I need to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym. Hey, I am accountable for my own actions. If I'm not doing that, I have no one to blame but myself for how I present myself and what I do throughout my day. That's me. That's on me and no one else. I can't hold someone else accountable for me not going to the gym, for me getting out of shape, for me eating too much. That is my fault. And I think more people need to take that accountability and learn that they need to rely on themselves and their mental health. And again, it's not just on physical ability or anything like that. Like, it comes down to the way you think, the way you move, the way you vibe with people. It all comes down to being able to rely on yourself and the accountability to make things happen. And that kind of leads me into the next, in terms of accountability, is you have to care, man. Like, if you don't care, I never cared about being fat. I never did. And it's not that I care about being fat. It's that I just sat back one day and was like, man, I am unhappy with my body weight. I am. I personally am. I don't like being my size for how tall I am, or being the weight that I am for how tall I am. And for a long time, I didn't care. And now I care about that, not for other people's happiness. Like, I don't care what people think of me. That doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is, like, I care about myself. It bothers my personal being to be this weight. And it's finally, like, culminated into caring is building that accountability in myself. And it's something that I've been really thinking about, is being able to build accountability through caring is what get things done. Not just me going to the gym. Like, if I care about my job, I'm going to hold myself accountable to sell cars. If I care about my mental health, I'm going to hold myself accountable to do things better. There are plenty of things in this world, like being on social media all the time, drinking soda, oddly enough, or caffeine, having that crash all the time, or drinking alcohol, or smoking weed, or popping that pill, like whatever. It's caring about yourself, which will build accountability into you moving forward and helping yourself in every single aspect of life. And I know there's a lot of guys out there, and including myself, who always say, "Oh, I don't care," but like, I care a lot about a lot of things that nobody really knows. Like, I care about like not getting invited to go do things. I care about like, hey, like all my friends are playing and they're not inviting me. Like, that shit bothers me, just as it bothers everybody else. Like, when you're trying out for a sports team, or you're trying out for the school play, or you're trying out to hit a body weight goal, or you're interviewing for a job, if you don't care, you're not going to get the job. You're just not. You're not going to make the team. You're not going to get that role in the play. Like, if you don't care enough to go out there and excel and do better every day and find ways of what you're doing wrong, or find ways to look inside yourself to have a better day, you're never going to. And that's what builds accountability. That's what builds a way to move forward in terms of success in not just your life, but success inside your mental. Like, one of the biggest things for me is just doing things mediocrely. Like, if I am trying to achieve, hey, I want to get a win in a video game, or I want to get this job, it comes down to me having to hold myself accountable and say, okay, I didn't win this one. What did I do wrong? I know I keep making analogies to gaming or sports or working, but that's me. Like, that's who I am. So if I'm doing I have to be doing something wrong if I'm not hitting the outcome that I want. And that's part of holding yourself accountable and being able to rely on yourself and people who are around you, being honest and having the integrity to work hard and grind for what you want. And that takes me to the grind, man. I don't know anybody that has that type of grind for what they want in this world. For anyone. Like, there's people out there making millions and billions of dollars, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, doing what they love because they grinded for years to get there. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to put in my time, grind, and show people, hey, this is what I want, this is what I love, this is where I'm going to be. And that's what it takes. You have to be willing to grind. And it all comes back to those things that I mentioned about work ethic. It all comes back to that. And one of those other things that you have to do is grind. You have to be willing to grind. You have to be willing to put in the time for what you want. And I don't see that in a lot of people anymore, man. I know it's just me kind of bullshitting, but I don't see that. Everybody's saying they want stuff. I say I want stuff all the time. I say I want to lose weight, and I haven't started anything yet. I'm starting on the 1st. I know, blah, 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 New Year's resolutions don't last, but that's when I'm choosing to start because of the holidays. That's when I want to start my self-cleanse and essentially like self-rebuild, I guess. But it comes down to you have to be willing to grind. And I know 100 people that say they want to do this, say they want to stream, say they want to lose weight, say they want to get that job, say they want to be a manager, and they're not willing to work hard and grind. Like, it's more than just sitting here and hitting go live every day. You have to entertain. It's more than just showing up at your job, doing the bare minimum, and skating by. It's more than just trying out for the team. Oh, you didn't make it? Oh, sucks. Man, my coach really sucks. It's more than trying out for the play and not getting it, and you're like, oh, this is rigged. It's because it's the teacher's daughter. I don't fuck with that. I don't believe in that. Are there cases where that type of stuff happens? Like, yes, but it is such a woe is me mindset to tackle things of, well, he's getting this position. I think I deserve it, and I didn't get it. Or, man, I really wanted to make the team as a starting pitcher or as the starting running back, and I didn't make it because the coach sucks and he didn't see my talent. instead of going out there, putting on your fucking best instead of the bare minimum and grinding your ass off when you don't make it to prove them wrong. My senior year when I was in high school, mind you, I started almost every single game from JV up. My senior year of high school in baseball, I was told, hey, you probably won't see a lot of playing time on varsity. If you want to play on JV, we'll let you play. And you know what I did? I chose to play on varsity, worked my fucking ass off in training and in practices to prove to my coaches, hey, no, I'm fucking here to stay, buddy. Like, I'm here to earn my fucking time. And I ended up having the most innings pitched on my fucking baseball team. Started every game, whether it be in the field or at DH. I went from playing outfield and modified to playing second baseman in JV to playing third base my senior year and having the most innings pitched as a 5'6", 220-pound fucking high schooler. No chance. Granted, was our team that good? No, but I worked my ass off. I was told I wasn't going to play at all. I was told I would have been better off playing for the JV team than I would on varsity. Not a lot of people know that story because it's not a woe is me pity party. It's just showing that hard work can pay off, that if you want something, put your time in. If you can make the team, make the team. But if they're telling you, oh, yeah, you're third string fucking running back or third string wide receiver or third string linebacker, or you're not getting the head roll in the play, or you're not going to get this job because this guy's had 6 more years experience. When he gets that job, show him up. Put in the next fucking year's work and show him why you should be in that position. Or put in the work in practice and show him why you should be the starter. And to me, like, that's important as a coach, as a manager, as a person. Like, that matters. Seeing somebody say, hey, man, I am fucking here. I am putting my nose to the fucking ground, and I'm going to dig my way to that position, to where I want to be, to become a full-time streamer, things like that. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to get there. Within moral reason, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to where I want to be. And one of those things that kind of comes along with that, and one of the things I preached for a long time is positivity. And I know I'm kind of just rambling. I hope you guys don't mind. But positivity is huge, man. I don't know how else to put that into words that people understand, because people think it's a joke. People think I'm just messing around like, man, you're mad all the time, or you have problems. Like, you can't always be positive. Yes, you can, man. Like, find the positive in everything. I'm pissed off. Like, even if I'm pissed off at a game, like, I don't go to bed just fucking livid. Me and Haley argue. I don't go to bed mad at Haley. I had a bad game. I didn't go home and go to sleep pissed off because I wanted to get better. If I was 0 for 4 with 4 Ks, I found, like, what the fuck did I do wrong? Yeah, during the game and in the moment, I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, that wasn't a strike. Whatever. That doesn't matter. Take a step back, take a deep breath, find the positive note and everything. Like, yeah, I struck out 4 times, but that's never happening again. That's never going to happen again, ever. And it didn't. I struck out 4 times, 1 time in a game when I was in 8th grade, and I never struck out multiple times in a baseball game again. Ever. Doesn't happen. Because you have to find ways to get better, and that starts with positivity, man. You have to find the positive notes in everything. In stream for a long time. I've been streaming for almost 5 years and daily for almost 3. Every single day, and the only reason I do that is because of positivity. Pineapple energy. Positive energy breeds positive energy. Positive energy breeds success. 100%. And that's what pineapple energy means, man. Spread pineapple energy everywhere, because if I'm positive for you guys on stream, you're going to go home and be positive with your parents. You're going to go home and be positive with your brother. Yeah, it may end immediately. They may piss you off, but you came into the next thing positive. The reason why I've streamed every single day for 1,000+ days is because you never know when someone's going to need that. You never know when Crub or Slates or Matt or Will get home, they're going to be like, man, thank God Kain's live. Thank God Wilder42K's live. Thank God I can pop on his stream because I really needed this today. And again, I get mad on stream all the time. I argue with people all the time on stream, whether it be a fun argument. Like, nothing's heart to heart. Like, I don't get upset. I don't take shit personally. Like, it is what it is. When, like, me and Slates argue all the time over sports and stuff. I don't take that personally. That's not me, because it's like, hey, man, we just had an awesome discussion. I learned things. He learned things. He may have changed my viewpoint. I may have changed his viewpoint. We roll on, next discussion. But you never know when, like, that's what that person needs during the day. You never know when you're going to need to spread positivity to the next person, whether it be holding the door, giving the next person you see like $1, or, hey, like, I'm helping out a customer. They need a drink, but they don't want one of our free waters. All right, bet. Let me go get you a soda out of the soda machine. Like, give something. That impression will last way longer than anything else you do for a person. You know what I'm saying? If you can make a positive impression, even if it lasts 30 seconds, or you buy them a drink, or something just super fast, that impression, they're not going to go home and talk about it, but man, did it just fucking make their day 10 times better. But if you're negative and you produce a bad experience for anyone at any time, they're going to go home and talk about it. You're going to be the person they go home and talk about when they get home. You cut somebody off on the road, what's the first thing that person says when they get to work? Or you get cut off on the road, what's the first thing you tell people when you get to work? Man, this jackass just cut me off on the road. But, you know, you're just cruising along, blaring the music, like vibing to fucking Friday by Rebecca Black. You get to work, you think you're not telling anybody that. And you just had like a self-revelation that you're like, damn, this song's really good. You know what I mean? Or you're just vibing and you get to work. You don't tell anybody that you're in a really good mood. But if you're in a shit mood, everybody knows around you immediately. You listen to music, you're vibing. You know what I mean? Oh, you stopped at the store, you grabbed a pint of ice cream. When you come home, bang, and you eat the ice cream, you're like, fuck yeah. 2 seconds later, you could get mad. But once you're mad, man, once you experience a negative experience throughout the day, if you don't find the next positive thing or find something to make your mood better, you're going to be negative the whole day. Whereas if you find a positive thing, you could be mad the next second. It's all ups and downs, obviously, and I get that. But when you get to work, like I said, if you're driving to work or you're going to school and you get an F on your fucking test, you're pissed. You're mad. And you're going to, you're not going to tell people because you don't want to be embarrassed, but you're going to go home and your parents are going to ask you, what'd you get on your test? They want to hear an A. You tell them you got an F, and they're going to be pissed at you. And then you're pissed at them for getting mad at you, and then you carry that into the next conversation you have. Or you go in your room and you pout and you get mad. Like, yeah, it fucking sucks. You got an F. Or, damn, I struck out 4 times in a game. Or, damn, this guy really cut me off. Yeah, those things may not hold throughout the day. But a positive thing lasts so much shorter, whereas something negative will impact your day so much longer. So every impression you make, you should try and spread positivity to the next person. Because if you don't, you're just going to be the story that people tell when they get home. You see somebody at the grocery store, they cut you off, they run into you with your car, or you're at the park and kid steals your swing. Like, just little shit, man. You really think about it, you order a pizza, shows up in 45 minutes, it's cold. You're pissed. But if that pizza showed up in 20 minutes, it's hot, you're not complaining, but you're like, damn, this is all right, and it immediately fades. But you bet your ass the next day, you're going to be like, man, I ordered a pizza and it took 45 minutes to get here and it was cold. I'm never getting them again. You watch a movie, it's really good. You probably talk about it for a while, but if it's bad, you're going to tell everybody not to go see it. You're going to tell everybody that movie sucked. You're going to tell everybody that there's no point in wasting their 3 hours and 20 minutes to go see it. Whereas like me, I saw Avatar, man. I thought that was one of the best movies I've ever seen, let alone visually stunning movies I've ever seen. I'm going to tell everybody to go see it. But that's because it was that much of a positive experience. If that movie was just like, or, hey, that was really good, I wouldn't go around telling people to go see it. That's how good the movie was. That's how much positivity you should spread throughout your day. Even if it's just a bunch of little things. Buying it, getting somebody a water. Saying hi to somebody you walk by the street. One of the things I pride myself on is just being able to talk to anyone. And be that, like, shining light. Me and Haley were walking through the mall the other day. On my birthday, we were going to pick up cheesecake to have cake that night. And I don't even know what song. It was an Ariana Grande song, music, Christmas song. playing over the loudspeaker. And I was singing, dancing, and she was laughing. And I was walking by this guy, and we locked eyes, and he starts laughing. So I pointed at him and started singing to him. Like, that made that fucking guy's day. He just went home and told everybody about that. What is better than that? Just being like, yeah, that was an awesome experience. That's an awesome story that I could tell. What is better than spreading positivity? I can't name a thing. Another thing I want to talk about tonight is kind of just expectations and passion and like motivation. If you don't have passion or motivation to do things, you're never going to be able to accomplish your goals. If you don't really love something, you're never really going to care. If you don't have passion, like for me, I've never had passion to lose weight, and now I do. I'm unhappy in my weight. I've never had more passion than I have for streaming, and I want to do it, and I'm going to do it. I will do whatever I can to make it in this field. And whether it be this field or sports, like these are the two things that I want to do. There's nothing that I'd rather do than be in sports or gaming. Those are the two things. And that's my passion. That's what I fucking love. I love cars, sports, and gaming. That's it. I shouldn't say that's it, but those are the three things that just I feel like define me as a person. And without that passion, there's so many people out there that have no idea what they want to do with their life because they don't know what their passion is because they're raised and brought up through school to say, hey, these are the things that are important. And you're like, well, I don't like any of these things, but you never go out and try things. I played video games throughout my entirety of childhood, and I never really fell in love with games until I got to college. Like, I got to college, and I just found so many different ways that the gaming world exploded, and it made me fall in love with it. Sports, I've always loved sports. I've always been a stats guy. I've always been a guy that can sit here and talk about sports for hours, regardless of what it is. I can name millions of baseball players off the top of my head, and that started when I was a kid. The first time I ever remember being like, fuck yeah, sports was my family used to always come over on Saturdays. We were sitting there watching baseball. We were watching the Red Sox and Yankees. And I was probably like 4 or 5, and I really wanted like fast food for dinner or whatever it was. And my grandmother was a Yankees fan, and she was rooting for them. And my dad told me, you never root for the Yankees. Like, that is just not a team we're rooting for in this household. And he told me that if the Red Sox won, we would get the fast food. I obviously started rooting for the Red Sox, and that was how I became a Red Sox fan. And from that day forward, like, I've always loved the Red Sox. I've always followed it. Always. Never skipped a beat. As dumb as the story that is, but, like, I've been a Raptors fan since 2004. I was 7. I played NBA Live 2004, and they were the Raptors, a fucking dinosaur, man. Like, I was in it. That was me. That was the team for me. I followed them since 2007 through all the lows and the one high we had in 2018. I've been a Bruins fan since probably about 2008, 2007. You know what I mean? Like, it comes down to passion. If you can't find your passion at a young age, it's really hard to find your passion when you're older. So try different things. I've loved cars because it's what I grew up around. I always had Hot Wheels. I had the Monster Jam monster trucks. Like, I always had some form of car memorabilia around me at any time growing up. I was always around in the garage. I was always around helping my dad and helping my mom in the yard. Like, it comes down to finding your passion as a young age. And that, like, I can name 10 people right now off rip that don't know what their passion is. I would go as far as to say 95% of the people that I know don't know what they want to do with their life. And 80% of those are people above 21. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but find your passion, man. Find what motivates you. I've never been motivated to lose weight until now because I'm just at the point where I am uncomfortable in my weight. And I know I just keep bringing it back, but that's why I want to talk about these things, is because now I want to do things. It's about what you want to do. It's about what you want to do with your life. And if you're not willing to grind and put forth the work ethic and the grind into it and work fucking hard for what you want, you obviously don't care about it. And that's where caring comes in, man. Caring produces accountability, reliability, honesty, integrity, motivation. Like, you obviously don't care enough. And if you don't care enough about something, And you're like, man, I want to lose weight, but I'm not willing to do anything. Man, I want to make that team, but like I'm not willing to put in the time to practice after school. I'm not willing to take the off season and go to the gym. I'm not willing to do certain things. Look at yourself. Why don't you care? Like, why don't you care enough to do those things? And that's something I've had to do with myself every time. I'm like, man, why don't I venture into losing weight? Why don't I give myself that opportunity? Why aren't I going to the gym? Oh, I don't have time. That's not an excuse. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. You got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? You choose how you spend your time. There's kids out there that are working twice as hard as you ever did to get where they want to be. Also, shout out Aiden. Thank you so much for the 26 months with a Prime sub. I appreciate it, brother. How you doing? Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Wild Things. You're going to be the first one on the Wild Things board behind me here. But speaking of Aiden, like, he is fucking playing baseball all the time. He wants that shit. He wants baseball and football. That is him, bro. Like, he fucking loves it. He is putting in 20-fold the times of work that anybody I've ever known to play even remotely close to professional ball. Ever. Including myself. 20 times more. And what's that say about him, man? Like, he has the passion, he has the drive, he has the fucking motivation to work and grind and do it because he fucking loves it, man. He loves that shit. Slates, Jaxo, like, they've been doing YouTube and shit since they were young. I wish I was in love with this shit when I was that young because I'd probably be somebody by now. But they have that passion now and they can grind for this. They can fucking do it. My dad, he's always loved fucking cars, and he took that passion and elevated it because that's what he grew up around, and he elevated it to be one of the best in the fucking business when it comes to shit. You know what I mean? And same thing with my mom. Like, she is one of the hardest workers, and she has so much passion in everything she fucking does. Whether she loves her job or not, or whether she loves the people that she's around or not, she has so much passion for fucking people around her and the shit she does. Like, she wants to fucking work hard. She is unlike any other woman on this planet in terms of she wants to put forth the right fucking foot no matter what every fucking time. And that is so fucking rare. There are so few people. Haley's parents, same way. Like, her dad is always trying to find a fucking way to help the family. Haley's always trying to fucking find a way, like, all right, if we do this, we can make a little bit more. If we do this, this will be easier. Same thing with her mom. Like, she's always trying to find a way to have fun. Her passion is to live her life to the fullest. That's huge. Like, a lot of people don't even have that as a passion. And I think people need to find that. And to me, again, it comes down to the excuse of, oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. Yeah, you do. That's just an excuse. All an excuse is a reason to not get something done. I show up late to work every now and then. I don't make up an excuse like, I fucking overslept. That's not an excuse. That's me telling you the truth. Traffic was bad. That's not an excuse. That's me telling you the truth. We live in a metropolitan city. I live 2 miles away. It takes me 15 minutes to get to work sometimes. That's wild. Like, that's not an excuse. That's reality. But an excuse is, oh, I don't have the time. Oh, my dog ate my homework. Do it again. Do it again. I was in elementary school, and Emily Cromie brought in a bag a half-eaten essay that her goat ate and handed it to the teacher and said, hey, I'm not fucking lying. This happened. That's not an excuse. That's fucking reality. And that's the difference. You can either make excuses or prove reality to the person when you're not worried about something. Time is not a fucking reality. Time is an excuse. I work 45 to 55, sometimes 60-hour weeks. I stream 2 to 3 hours a day and make YouTube content and find time to talk and hang out with my friends here and find time to call family sometimes. I admit I'm really bad at calling family members and friends. I just am. I've owned up to that multiple times on this podcast. Because I believe, like, hey, I don't need to text you every day to know that I love you. Even though when we do text, I say it every time because, like, that's me. But I find time to hang out with Haley and hang out with the dogs. Yeah, it's probably not as much as she'd like. And it's probably not as much as my friends would like to go out with me or do things with me. But like, I make that time. One of my biggest excuses was I don't want to make time to go to the gym. And I'm going to make time to go to the gym because I am passionate about losing weight. It's not that I'm unhealthy or that it's not that I'm unhealthy. I don't think that I'm unhealthy. Am I overweight? Yes. So I guess you could say I'm unhealthy. But I'm unhappy and I have a newfound passion of stop being a fat ass. And that's not me projecting that onto you guys. That's me saying it out loud to myself on this podcast so you guys can hold me accountable. Because if I don't, you're going to be like, hey, man, thought you were going to lose weight. Thought you were going to go to the gym, man. Why aren't you going to the gym? Hey, it's the 22nd. How's the gym grind going? That's me finding a way to keep myself accountable because if I put it out here and I don't fucking do anything, there goes my integrity. There goes my honesty. There goes everything that I believe in. You know what I'm saying? There's everything I stand for gone. I say I want to do this podcast every week. Are there going to be weeks where we don't put out a podcast? Yes. But this week, there was no excuse for us not to have a podcast. Even if I have to do it by myself. There was zero excuse that every week we have to last minute scramble to do this. No excuse. We know it's coming. We've been doing it for 4 months. Why are we scrambling? This is episode 18. You know, like we shouldn't have to try this hard to put this together. Excuse me, I had to take a drink. And that's really what sparked me to do this is there is no excuse for us not to be doing a podcast every week. And half of that's on me. Like, I don't come up with topics. I'm really bad at planning ahead. But like I would probably say 10 people that want to be guests on this podcast. And every time we have one lined up, something happens where one of us can't do it or something happens where that person has to back out. Like we're planning these at least a week in advance. And I want to have my friends on. I want to have interesting people on this podcast that we can have interesting discussions with. And this will probably end up being one of the shorter podcast episodes because it's just me rambling all night. But again, I thought this was a really interesting subject to cover because to me, it's so relevant right now because it's just me on here. And it's not that those guys don't want it because they do. They want it just as bad as me. I love Travis and I love TJ. And they want this shit. But they have so much going on that they couldn't do it tonight or they forgot or multiple times where like I don't feel like doing this podcast. I don't. But there was no excuse for us not to put out a podcast episode this week. Wasn't. We can come up with something to talk about. It took me all of 5 minutes to come up with the things that I wanted to talk about tonight. Because it's stuff that I care about. It's stuff that I think matters in this world. Going forward on this podcast, I don't want to shy away from anything that's going on in the world. I don't want to be afraid to talk about things because I think that's what you guys want to hear, and that's what I want to talk about. And I think they do too. But in the beginning, I think we're all a little worried. We didn't want to touch certain subjects or touchy subjects that are going on in the world because we don't want to upset anybody. But frankly, like, I don't think that matters. Like, every other podcast is talking about everything. Why can't we? Especially when we have a guest on. We should be able to ask opinions and things like that. Like, we talk about our own personal problems and our own mental health issues and things that go on in this world with us. And I think we should start opening up a little bit more on things that are going on in the world. And especially, again, if we have a guest on the podcast, I don't want to shy away from asking questions because we send the person that we have on the podcast the questions. So if they don't like them, they can just be like, hey, we don't want to answer that. Fine, we'll take it off. That's no biggie. We got a backup. Like we got more than enough questions to ask you all these to fill an hour's worth of content. So going forward on this podcast, I don't want to have any issues with that. Guys, I don't really have anything else to talk about. That was really all I had tonight. I really just want to talk about work ethic and everything like that. And I'm really sorry that this is going to be one of the shorter podcast episodes at only about 40, 45 minutes. But again, to me, it's just, there was no excuse. And that's what it comes down to is just finding a way to get shit done and being able to work through things that are going on around you and still making the shit that you want to happen. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. I want to thank you all for listening to the 2 Kill Time podcast and constantly showing your support. And if y'all did enjoy this video, please enjoy this podcast and video, please leave a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and even leave a like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel. I also do want to give a self shout out as well. Thank you, everybody who has subbed to my YouTube channel. We hit 300 subs this past day. I believe we hit it on Monday, and I could not be more thankful for that. We are slowly grinding in the content world, and this podcast continues to do the same. And I can't thank you all for constantly showing support and listening and loving and sharing this podcast. Please continue to do so, because we will be forever thankful. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and if you did, I will see y'all in the next one. Have a good night, guys.